Hello and welcome. My name's Andy Crick, and I'm your host for this training topic called the Grunt Test. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. I go live most weeks on a training topic on one of the 5 pillars of business as I see it. This week, we're in the marketing pillar, and we're looking at the Grunt Test. The question I'm asking this week is, does your marketing pass the Grunt Test? The Grunt Test is a concept I've taken from Donald Miller's StoryBook marketing framework. It suggests that most websites, social media posts, and ad copy fails because it's trying to be too clever or is simply too vague. The Grunt Test checks your marketing messages, answer 3 simple questions. What do you do? How does it help me? And how do I get it? So without further ado, let's get into tonight's topic. And we're going to look at it in 3 different areas and then some examples. We're going to look at why it matters, then how to use it, how to apply it in your marketing. Imagine that a caveman has landed on your website. Stick with me here, because what we're talking about is the capacity that people have to think when they're scrolling through social media or on the internet. So they're a bit like a caveman in their ability to think. Basically, they can just about grunt, which is why we call it the Grunt Test. A caveman has a short attention span and no patience whatsoever for fluff. This is the same as your potential customers on the internet, driving past your garage, or maybe even reading the community magazine. They only have the capacity to work out 3 simple things. What do you offer? How will it make their life better? And what do they need to do to get it? If your homepage or your advert or signage can answer those 3 things very quickly, clearly, and simply, then congratulations. You've passed the Grunt Test. So let me say those 3 again, because we'll keep coming back to them time and time again during this training topic. What do you do? How does it help me? How do I get it? They're the 3 questions that you apply to your marketing. Now, why does that matter? You might be thinking, I'm a garage. Isn't it obvious what I do? But is it? It's obvious to you, maybe, but is it obvious to everybody else? So let's do a quick check. Go to your website or your Facebook page, or even look up your last advert. Does it say, "We fix cars"? Here's how that helps you and what to do next. Or does it say something a bit like this? Excellence in automotive solutions. Or your partner in precision vehicle diagnostics. Because they fail the Grunt Test. People don't want clever, they want clear. What do you do? Not automotive solutions. Say something like, we do MOTs and repairs. How do you help me? Not trusted partner. Say something along the lines of, we keep your car on the road for less. How do I get it? Not get in touch. Say, book online in 60 seconds. Can you see the difference? So how do you use the Grunt Test in your marketing? Here's a dead simple framework to check anything that you're putting out in regards to your marketing. And it's a simple 3-step framework, as most of my frameworks are. The first thing you need to do is whatever you're writing onto your website, onto social media, onto the advert, your copy, as it's known, either get someone to read it or say it to someone who doesn't work in your garage. It's got to be an outsider, someone who doesn't understand the work that you do. So someone who doesn't work in your business. And when you say it to them or get them to read it, afterwards, can they tell you 3 simple things? What do you do? How does it help them? And how do they get it? What do they have to do next? If they can't answer those 3 simple questions, you need to rewrite it. Once they can answer those 3 questions, the next step, step 2, is to strip it back even further and get rid of the jargon. ditch any clever phrases. Use the languages that your customer would use. The simple test I have is, can an 8-year-old understand your copy, your advert, post, or whatever it is you're doing? A neat trick you can do now is put it into one of the AI engines and ask the artificial intelligence what the reading level is. And then you could ask them to rewrite it so that an 8-year-old can understand it. So we can use the tools around us to make our copy easier to understand. And then what we need to do into step 3, once we've got the message right, and we're using the right level of language, we need to start thinking about using headings and call to action buttons. In our headings, we want to use big, bold text. Remember, simple messages, big letters. And a call to action button that tells the potential customer how they get your thing. What do they need to do next? So you want things like call now, and when they click the button, if they're on their mobile device, it starts to ring you. Book online. If they click the call to action button, it takes them to an online booking platform. What we want to avoid is call to actions that say things like discover more, because what does that actually mean? Who's going to be tempted in today's fast-paced, cluttered world to click a thing that says discover more? What does that actually tell the person who's possibly in a position where he thinks, yeah, I need one of those now. Do I need to know more? You can provide more details on the booking page. You can tell them all about it if they phone you, but you don't want to send them somewhere to read about it and then get them to book, if that's what you're trying to do. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to make it as clear as possible and remove any friction. And what do I mean by remove the friction? The easiest way to think about that is reduce the number of steps your potential customer has to do in order to get in touch with you or make a booking. If you reduce the number of steps, the number of clicks they do to get to that position, that's what you're doing. So we go back through those 3 things is, can someone read it and understand what you do, how it helps them, and what to do next? Once you've got that basic language sorted, make it even simpler. Strip it right back. Use AI to make it simple so that an 8-year-old can understand. And then when you produce your copy, when you put it on a website, an advert, or even sign, use big, bold text with clear call to actions. Let's look at a couple of examples that I've taken from actual web pages. And so here's a before version of a garage homepage. This one I found on the internet. If it's your garage, I'm sorry. I'm just using it as an example. Delivering innovation in vehicle care since 1994. That was on one. Excellence, integrity, passion. That was on another. They sound nice, but what do you actually do? What is delivering innovation? What is vehicle care in this example? What does excellence, integrity, and passion tell someone about what you do? Why should they even care? But most of all, if they don't know what you're delivering, what it is that you do, are they likely to want to get it, let alone think about how they get it? How do you get innovation in vehicle care? It's not something you probably order, is it? So think about this as the after version. We service and repair cars in your town. When I say your town, insert the name of your town. Saving you money while keeping you safe and legal. Book online today in less than 60 seconds. Boom, Grunt Test passed. It tells you instantly that you fix cars. It'll help me stay safe and save money. I can book it now online using this device really quickly in under a minute. So when you're looking at what you're going to put onto social media or onto the internet, or even on your signage, your leaflets, your flyers, or even in the local community mag, if that's where you do your marketing. Make sure you're answering the question, what do you do? Why should the person reading about it care about it? And then if they do care enough, how do they get it? Let me give you another example. This was for a German car specialist. And on their website, and this was on their website, it basically, the top headline was MOT, servicing, clutches, timing belts, diagnostics. It's not really telling us much, is it? It's just a list of stuff that just about all garages do. How about changing that to something like this? We only fix German cars. Call us now. Much better. It passes the grunt test. It tells them exactly what you do, but more importantly, it tells them what you don't do. Yeah. If you own a Citroen, are you going to call that garage? If you owned a BMW, would you call that garage? Yeah. It's passed the grunt test. So whenever you think about passing the grunt tests on your ads, your website, your social media, any of your messaging, you should clearly answer, 1, what you do, 2, how does it help the person reading it, and 3, how do they get it? But not in a paragraph, not in a scroll, in the first 5 seconds. If you can nail that, you get their attention. And attention is what gets bookings. Remember, people want clear, not clever. Let's face it, if they don't understand what you offer in the first few seconds, or visit in your website, or see in your message, they'll simply scroll past. If they don't get it, they're gone. And I've got a little mantra to remind myself whenever I'm doing any sort of copy for the website, for any advertising or social media posts. And it's simply this. If you confuse, you lose. But if you're clear, they're here. And that's the mantra I keep saying to myself. If you confuse, you lose. But if you're clear, they're here. And this is why you should have landing pages for every single one of your services and social media posts and adverts that drive traffic towards them. Now, it sounds like a lot of work, and it probably is, but it's what works. You want one page that tells the customer about one thing that makes it absolutely clear what you do. So think about it. Let's say you do MOTs in your local area, and we talked about these sort of things on a previous training topic. You're looking for, you've got a gap in your MOT schedule that you want to fill. You traditionally have a bit of slack time on a Wednesday morning, and you want to do a collection and delivery for that. And you're going to put out a social media post that advertises that fact to your A-type customers. And that's exactly what you're doing. So when you put that post out, wherever that post takes them, your landing page to do your bookings, it's going to say one page that only says about one thing, and you're going to make what that is crystal clear. What you do, MOTs, how it helps your ideal customers, road safety compliance with a local collection delivery service. How do they get it? They call, book online, or fill in a form. Ideally, from the platform they're currently on. You might need to use different methods of call to action depending on how you advertise. So let's say you're only doing this for your A-type customers. You know which A-type customers have an MOT coming up in the next 28 days, and you're sending them an email. On that email, you're going to say what service you're providing. It's an MOT, and why do they need an MOT? You remind them that they need it because it keeps the road safe. It keeps them compliant in terms of the legal requirements of driving a motor vehicle. But the most important thing to them is you're going to do a local collection and delivery service. That's why they're interested in having you MOT their car this time. And then how do they get it? So that's immediately what they'll go, like MOT's due because you've just told them. They're going to go, well, how do I book it? The next click, whatever they do from that email, you should have a hyperlink on that email that takes them, because they're reading an email. It's unlikely, if they're on a PC, they'll be able to phone you from it. It should take them to a form that either they fill in and then you contact them, or a booking form where they book their slot. And then you tell them you're going to pick up their car in the morning, drop it off in the afternoon, whatever it is. And that's what you need to do. You need to be clear, not clever, and make sure they know what you do, how it helps them, and how they get it. Remember, if you should, you must, and what's stopping you is probably starting. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you next time.